All right, we'll get started. So my name's Susan Paley. Thank you for sitting through this. I'm here interviewing Meredith Perry, and this is just hilarious. Meredith is the founder and CEO of ELmind Technologies. This is a novel wearable neurotechnology that can achieve the same benefits as both pharmaceuticals and chemicals that can change your brain state, but do it electrically. Meredith is a lifelong, I guess, inventor, as well as a lover of science. She is on the board of the Craig Ventnor Institute here in San Diego. She was an ambassador to NASA. She wrote papers on astrobiology and medicine. She has many patents to her name. One is on wireless charging over the air, but there are many more. And she now is embarking on a new venture, which is very exciting. So I want to welcome you. And I've known her for a few years, and she's a powerhouse. There's not many women that have done what Meredith has done and will continue to do. So with that.
Thank you, Susan. Also, I heard that this was the best session of the entire event. So,
Yes, it is.
Congratulations for being a part of it with us.
And thank you, Pankaj, for... What? Direct me?
She wants to correct you.
Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stand corrected by Pankaj in the front row, the peanut gallery. Not only not many women, but also not many men have achieved what Meredith has. So we are getting a sneak peek today. Go, Meredith. Yes.
Thanks.
This is actually kind of inside baseball. Meredith has not announced the launch of the company or the product yet. That's going to happen very shortly. So we ask that you guys don't tweet, post, put images, video of what she'll show you. But we will ask you guys to sign up at the end, so you can be first to market. Yes. Okay, so Meredith.
Yes.
You have a better voice than I do, by the way, on the microphone. Okay.
It's about one octave lower than yours.
Okay, I want your origin story, or just tell me some defining moments. You growing up around tech, launching companies, working for NASA. Were there experiences that kind of shaped who you are today and why you're here developing ELmind?
Sure. Maybe we should give people context on ELmind first so they have a reason to listen. What do you think?
I'm happy to do that.
Okay. All right. So for everyone in the audience, what we're developing, and it really is us, and also Pankaj. We're developing a new kind of wearable neurotechnology that can read the brain in real time, intercept it in real time, and change it like a drug, but without side effects and without chemicals. So in this way, we think of it as like mimicking the effects of drugs using just a wearable device in a way that's safer and smarter. So now that they have context, maybe we can talk about...
We're going to go into that in a minute, but I would love to hear just some experiences or things that kind of shaped why you've gone into this direction, what you're trying to fix in human health, society. Like, what are the things that motivate you?
Sure. So I'm sure many of you in tech have come across autistic savants. They're brilliant. They can compute large numbers in their heads. They seem to be able to move faster mentally than a lot of people. I was really fascinated by these kinds of people in college. I am not autistic, and I wanted to understand why my brain was different from theirs, and why they were so smart. And so I looked into somebody else's research on autistic savants, and they showed that if you could use neurostimulation to suppress the brain of a non-savant person, and that person could achieve savant-like qualities. So they showed that when you could suppress the area, the brain of a non-autistic person, they could like draw a horse perfectly after not being able to draw at all, or like remember things very, very clearly with neurostimulation. And I was like, that's flipping fascinating. Why don't we commercialize that technology as a cognitive enhancement tool for everybody? And so that got me really interested in using non-invasive neurostimulation to change the brain physically as opposed to chemically.
Okay, so tell me more about ELmind then, and what what is supposed to be, what's going to do, what issue you're fixing or enhancing.
Sure.
So explain that for us.
So when we think about healthcare in 2024, healthcare today is reactive. It's slow. It's largely based on averages. It lags far behind the technology that we have available, and it's largely based on pharmaceuticals. And while pharmaceuticals can be really effective, we also know that there's side effects, and they can be addictive, and they sometimes don't have the result that we're looking for. And so we thought about, okay, how can we use non-invasive neurostimulation to mimic the effect of a drug so that we can get the benefit of a drug, but without the side effect, and basically use AI to precisely tune the drug, tailor the drug to the individual. And so we call this concept electric medicine, where we can read the brain in real time, stimulate the brain to drive it into one state or another. And then because we have a device that has sensors and can actually read what's happening in the body, we can tell whether or not the drug is working, as opposed to you needing to go into, you go to your doctor's office or something and take a blood test, or, do some sort of survey. With AI, we can, and machine learning and sensors, we can see in real time, is it achieving the result we want it to achieve? And if it's not, we can try changing it in real time. We can change the stimulation until we achieve the result that we want to achieve. So that is like the grand vision for electric medicine. And to date, we've started with just trying to figure out what kinds of neurostimulation techniques can drive the brain into a different state. And so we've done a number of different studies over the last 5 years that show us that we can do 4 different things. One study showed that we can suppress tremor for people who shake, if you've ever seen anybody with essential tremor. Another study showed that we can help people fall asleep significantly faster, up to 74% faster than normal, using just sound waves. A study also showed that we can lengthen the amount of time spent in deep sleep, which is associated with better sleep quality. Another study showed, and sorry, I'm almost finished, that if you combine our sleep technology with anesthesia, you can deepen the state of sedation that somebody is in. So effectively, you can take less drug for the same level of sedation. And a recent study that our colleagues did with our technology showed that we can boost memory formation. So we ultimately hope to address the gamut of neurological issues. But today we have 10 minutes left. We will speed up. Today we're launching with one of those categories in a consumer wellness device. It's our Tesla Roadster, and over time the device will be useful for a number of different applications.
Okay, so I think this is really important to understand, because I know one of the categories you mentioned is sleep. So I'm sure many of you, like myself, are obsessed with their sleep and never thought about it, because 10 years ago, it was about sleep when you're dead and just work all the time. And now it's all about recovery. But frankly, it is stressful with my Oura Ring. If I don't get a good sleep score, I'm upset. So it sounds like what this does is not just read the system and give people data that is inherently stressful, but it'll write to the system to actually put the system, being yourself, into the state. And that's kind of a game changer. And that's really, when I first heard about this technology, I thought, this is where it needs to go. It is, people inherently have to be passive in the experience of changing their body and recovering or optimizing. They cannot be responsible for doing those things themselves. And it sounds like that's the philosophy you guys are building.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. Yes. Emphatically, yes. Yeah, the concept, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys wear wearables today. And the wearables measure stuff, and that's great. They say what's measured improves. But none of these wearables really fix anything. And so that's where we differ, that's where we differ from other things. We can not only read, as Susan said, but we can also kind of write. We can read and write. We can not only tell you what your issue is, but we can also really try to fix it in a safe way. And so our first product, and again, off the record, we're launching this shortly, please don't post this online, is a wearable that helps you fall asleep much faster, and also stay in deep sleep longer. And we do that with a super comfortable headband that I can show you here. And it also tracks your sleep. So just like a wearable that you might have on your wrist or your ring, we can track your sleep on your forehead and also help you sleep better. We call it high performance sleep on demand.
Okay, and I think it's also important to understand that this is, Meredith obviously has been shepherding this. She's the CEO, she's the visionary behind it. But you do have a partnership, and this is algorithms out of MIT, correct? And there's a lot of scientific and clinical data behind this.
Yes. If you don't trust me, you should trust my co-founder, who is the lead neuroscience professor at MIT. His name is Dr. Ed Boyden, along with a number of my other co-founders who have more PhDs from MIT than I can count. We really have a powerhouse team behind us, and that's where the neuroscience comes from.
And you've done some clinical trials to date, correct, on this to prove the technology out?
Yes, we've done 4 clinical trials across sleep, tremor, anesthesia, and memory formation. I'm sorry, the tremor study was a clinical study, not a clinical trial. I have to be very careful about the labeling here. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, so we're going to get into this in a minute. I know we're going to see a sneak peek, but I'd love to know just what stuff you're most excited about in technology with AI, how you're leveraging AI, and just what excites you right now in technology.
Yeah. I think the idea of using AI for like hyper-personalization, especially with health, is really, really interesting. You know, what we've all probably experienced is that everything with health that we try, it may work, it may not work. And to be able to have like healthcare devices, not even just ours. So we can just look at the brain, and I hope that people take this concept and apply it to the rest of the body, where, you know, we can have continuous biological monitoring devices that can tell us that something is wrong before we have a symptom. That's where I really want things to go. And while we can try to do that with the brain, I want to see other people do that with the rest of the body. I haven't yet, so I'm putting it out there into the world for maybe you guys to go work on something interesting.
That's awesome. I mean, this is a big deal. The brain is obviously the final frontier. People know so little about the brain. So being able to initially, the first wave of products that can start to understand and change brain states is kind of a game changer. So I would love to, we're going to ask a couple questions, but can you give us a sneak peek?
Sure. Okay, here it is. I'll show this one. So this is the headband. It's super squishy. You can see on this side, there's a whole bunch of sensors that read your brain waves, and then there's something in the center, and that's what stimulates. So that's what the read is the EEG electrodes, and the write is the bone conductor stimulator, which is right in the center. No photos, please, if you're taking a photo. Yeah. So it's squishy, it's flexible, it's comfortable. You can sleep with it in any sleeping position. And I personally think it looks really cool, but you can be the judge of that.
And I've tried it. It is extremely comfortable, which I was a little concerned initially, but you don't even know it's on. So
yeah, we went through 7 different iterations to make this comfortable, and I was the biggest critic. So it's good, I promise.
Okay, so I think, Meredith, you're about to launch. It's imminent.
Yes.
The people here in this audience, what would you like them to do?
Yeah, so we have an exclusive beta program that we're launching in just a few weeks. It's going to be capped at a specific number of people, but what we're offering today for this audience, if this product interests you, is if you sign up on the wait list today, we will guarantee that you get in the beta. So if you go to ELmindTech.com, sorry I don't have that written anywhere, that's ELEMIND tech.com, and sign up on our wait list, we'll make sure that you get into our beta program, and you'll be the first to be able to access high-performance sleep on demand with our wearable.
No code from TechCon or anything, just sign up?
Anyone that comes in today will get in. So if you wait till tomorrow, you're out. Today, you're in.
Okay. Again, clinically backed, not just telling you how bad you sleep or how well you sleep, but making sure that you sleep well, which is a game changer. So, okay, thank you guys, but are there any questions from this audience? Does anyone want to ask a question? Yes.
This will be tough.
Yeah, you said that it get personalized to yourself, then how do you personalize it? Means how does it collect the data and then do the training, and who does the training, and so that it get personalized?
Yeah, so we have something called an AI sleep tailor that we're building. We collect information in a couple different ways. One is we ask you to fill out like a tiny little survey every day, which basically tells us what activities that you did. If you don't want to fill out a little survey, we can also we tap into Apple Health or Google Health, and we collect all your like daily behaviors. And then we try a whole bunch of different stimulations. We've got a bunch of tunable parameters for the stimulation that we try out over a period of time. And we also collect information the next morning that you wake up. So subjectively, we learn what makes you feel the best. And then objectively, we look at which stimulation protocol works best for you on a given day. So on days that you go for a run, or on days that you're stressed out or have a drink, we will learn which stimulation protocol works best for you and change it based on how you show up that day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very similar to when I did my Oura Ring. It took 2 weeks of data to establish what my circadian rhythm was. It said I'm a late morning person. So it's going to be the same type of thing. The more data, the better. Yeah. And then again, everything in AI is pattern matching. So it's pattern recognition and then personalized stimulation protocols based on who you are and your habits. Anyone else? Oh, sorry.
So you mentioned that you're using sound.
Yeah.
Are you using light, and are you using electromagnetic waves?
We're just using sound for sleep. Our IP covers all different types of stimulation. For the tremor work that we discussed, we do use electrical stimulation, but for the sleep product, it's literally just sound waves. And so it's actually not so much the kind of stimulation that we use that matters. It's the timing of the sound pulse relative to your brain waves. So it's the stimulation itself, the stimulus, that triggers the brain to be able to like disrupt a brain wave or interfere with it in a specific way that changes it. Sound is just palatable for consumers.
Awesome. Anyone else? Oh, he was coming over, and I'll get you next.
Would we still be able to dream?
We don't do anything with dreams. Your normal sleep after we help you fall asleep faster is natural sleep. We're not doing anything during dream periods of sleep. Yeah.
So what happens if the environment it's very noisy?
Noisy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this one, for example.
That's a great question. So if you're in a noisy environment, since we do stimulate through the forehead using a bone conductor, we recommend that you just like put in some foam earplugs or AirPods or something like that. And that's what we recommend for you on a plane too, if you use this device.
You guys are selling direct to consumer?
That's one of our channels.
Okay.
But we'll be selling through other businesses, distribution partners, selling directly to businesses as well. If you are interested in selling our product, we would love a conversation.
When do you plan on having it available to the public?
We're going to start pre-sales for our beta program in just a few weeks, and we'll ship later this summer.
What's the cost?
$349 for the headband, and there's a monthly subscription of $6.99 per month, but the beta program gets the first year free.
So if this was the best session of the event,